What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about this new business involving Sony purchasing even more studios, because this is kind of nuts. Like, literally, I did the math. This is the fastest that PlayStation has perhaps ever grown in their entire history as a company, because they just acquired yet another gigantic group of developers. But additionally, at the end of this video, I want to talk about a new leak that just accidentally slipped out about the GTA Remastered Trilogy, because it sounds like it's real, but probably coming in the spring of 2022. But let's start things off with just the talks of BluePoint. Now, there has been a bunch of leaks and rumors and stuff about the fact that BluePoint was eventually going to get scooped up by PlayStation. They're the people that obviously made the Demon's Souls remake, which everybody loves. They did the Shadow of the Colossus remake, which I feel like is not really talked about enough, but now they're officially part of PlayStation Studios. Now, here's why this is important. I know right now a lot of people are saying, all right, BluePoint, they just do ports. They just do some polishing up of previous projects. They don't do any original ideas. I think the point that some people are missing is the fact that right now, PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft, everybody is trying to scoop up as many high-quality developers as possible going into this next generation. I mean, that's part of the reason that you see stuff like the Bethesda deal going on over at Microsoft, is because they realize that the best way to try and just nail down your consumer base is really top-tier exclusives. If you can make the best games and they only exist on your platform, well, then you have a guaranteed profitable fan base, right? Well, here's my thoughts. This is a big deal. Like, even if you don't care about these specific remakes, here's what's actually striking my eye. So here's a tweet by Shinobi, basically doing the math. Just in the year 2021, PlayStation Studios has acquired roughly 500 developers. This is nuts. 500 additional talented people working on PlayStation games. This is a pretty freaking ginormous thing, which hopefully is going to lead to better products in the future. Now, here's what I want to show, which is this chart. This is every studio that was bought by PlayStation in just 2021. So this means Housemarque, the people that made Returnal, BluePoint, Firesprite. Now, these guys apparently have worked previously on some PSVR projects. It seems like they're probably going to do some PSVR 2 stuff, but even stuff like Nixxes, I feel like is incredibly important. This is the studio that's currently working on making PlayStation ports of games to PC. So Uncharted Collection, stuff like that, is being made by Nixxes. So to me, it's fascinating to see just this new tier of PlayStation. It seems like they're realizing that in order to be profitable, in order to keep up with the explosive growth of GamePass, the best way to do that is perhaps just buy. Now, one thing I've seen some people say on the internet is, oh great, so BluePoint is probably just making like a Metal Gear Solid remake, or they're probably just working on polishing up some sort of Spyro game or something. Well, that's actually not the case. Nobody is talking about this, and it's kind of blowing my mind. Right as they released this official statement, they've also started to do interviews. They've released all this freaking information, and they said they're working on a big original game. Like, this is what's nuts. They're saying, hey, we're making new stuff. We're going to explore some original ideas. We're just going to start making our own custom games. Now, to me, this is a gigantic headline. Like, why are people not freaking out about the idea? Like, BluePoint, who have been the masters of remakes, I'm extremely curious to see what their first original project is going to be like. Like, have they been able to learn lessons from walking in the footsteps of these previous masterpieces? Because I'd be really interested, as somebody that does love Demon's Souls a lot, I would be very interested to see like what these people do, like genre-wise. Are they going to make their own Dark Souls style action RPG? Are they going to make a racing game? Are they going to make a gigantic role-playing game? Like, right now, we have no freaking idea. But the fact that they're coming out and on the day announcing this freaking acquisition and simultaneously saying what come next is going to surprise you, that feels like a gigantic flag that something is about to go down. Now, This to me is great. I'm excited for it, but I'm also just kind of in the spot that if we could just be a bit negative for a second. I have seen some just conversation about the fact that these studios are getting scooped up. Microsoft is trying to purchase every single person they can. Nintendo is even just making exclusivity contracts with studios whenever they can. The main criticism I just keep hearing again and again, just cycled around, is that originally there were these groups that would just get together developers and make great games. They would just make art. But now people buy art. People just smash open the piggy bank and buy the biggest and best existing developers. So instead of making teams, they're buying teams. I guess I don't see this as a downside personally. I just hope that this leads to games soon. Like, my only fear about this specific acquisition and some of these other deals that are currently in the process is that if they just got bought today, does that mean they just started working on these games? Are their projects super pre-alpha? Are they just beginning production? Like, I don't care how many freaking studios you buy and how many billions of dollars you drop. I just want the games. Like, I'm not an investor in any of these stupid companies. I just want to see where the heck the games are at. The biggest hope that I can't help but have is that maybe this will give them some better funding, some better concrete actual goals, some better timelines. Maybe this will make them better at creating games themselves because they can just have a publisher kind of running the place. But I guess we're going to know next year. But speaking of next year, we have to look at this leak that came out this morning because I think it's pretty dang legit. Grand Theft Auto Remastered Trilogy has been rated in Korea. The collection is reportedly going to be scheduled for release in 2022. Now, I went through this. It's pretty interesting. I do think the funniest thing is the official name of it is the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. Now, the way this kind of just works, for those who have not ever actually read this kind of news, what this means is that basically you take a bunch of footage or sometimes a prototype of the game itself and you show it to a ratings board to say, okay, what score can we get for this? You know, what kind of E for everyone, T for teen, M for mature. And then once you have that, you're legally allowed to sell within that territory. But the game has to be pretty close to completion legally in order for you to get it rated. Normally, these publishers cannot even approach these ratings boards until the game is fully complete, even if it's not talked about. In fact, we see this, things like the whole Circle of the Moon trilogy, this Castlevania trilogy was leaked via these exact same ratings boards. A lot of times, these rating boards are how we can see stuff before it's even officially talked about. Well, I'm excited for this trilogy, but even now, I'm curious what it's going to be. Like, if you go into this report, they talk about the fact that this is being worked on by Ruffian Games, which is now called Rockstar Dundee. They've been working on this for almost an entire year. It was originally released, or originally slated to be released in October or November. Now it sounds like it's going to be coming in early 2022, but like, we still don't have any idea. Is this going to be full-blown remakes? Is this going to be better graphics? Is this going to be better controls? Like, personally, what I'm hoping for the most, like, I think Grand Theft Auto, especially those early ones, I love the goofy voice acting and the crazy-looking cars and stuff, but sometimes the aiming is incredibly bad. I'm hoping more than just a fresh coat of paint. I want a control update. I want these games to play better, to freaking be better. I want this to be the great games we remembered, but played the way we remember them. Alright, these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts, a random day of newsy updates. I love you guys a bunch. Please, if you could, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, but do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. And I'll see you in the next video. I got like 5 reviews planned next week. I'm not sleeping. I'll see you guys then. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.